What's up, everybody? I have a couple hours before I'm heading into town today, and it's actually a sunny day for February here in the Pacific Northwest, and that's saying something. So I am going to attempt to prune at least 2 trees before I have to leave. So I'm in the garage getting my pruning tools here. And we'll see you out there. I have a question for you guys. When do you guys prune your trees? I like to get mine done January, February, March. It can kind of be iffy weather-wise because we can get a lot of snow sometimes, and sometimes we get buckets of rain. And I just try to get them done anyway. So this is the tree I'm going to be pruning today. And I'm noticing I have a ton of suckers this year. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the tree is just an older tree and it does have a few issues with it. It did break off at one point because there was a ton of apples on it and the tree literally fell over and it cracked right in here. It's healing. Healing okay, but it's not the healthiest tree. But I do notice a lot of suckers. So my question to you guys who might have more experience than me is, why do some trees grow an enormous amount of suckers and some just don't? Does it have to do with how you prune it and when you prune it? Does it have to do with the tree not doing well? So leave me an answer in the comments. One thing to look for in pruning that you know you're going to cut is everything that's basically pointing straight up is going to need to come off. Then after that, I look for crossing branches. How do you tell where to cut the branch? So if you notice, with branches, they have these little lines here next to the base. That's where you want to make your cut, right in there. That's what's going to make the tree heal correctly after the cut. So this right here is where a previous branch was. It's probably a couple years old, I'm guessing, and it was cut right, you can tell, because the bark is growing over it and it's doing a nice job of it. So that's when you know you cut your tree in the right spot, is when you see a bunch of these little things on your tree where the branches were. You gotta love the Pacific Northwest. So something I'm doing is I'm pruning my trees up. You see I made a really big cut last year, right here. And see it's healing nicely, except for maybe right in here. But I'm hoping that'll fill in this year. And this is exactly what I was hoping this tree would do, right here. So this branch, this old growth branch, is springing out 2 branches right where I want them to. Right there. That means that this branch is replacing itself since I'm pruning the trees up. So we have this branch right here, which is growing in a direction I do not want it to grow in. So I'm going to make my cut. See this line? I'm going to make my cut right on that line. That makes the tree heal correctly. See this cut? That's not going to heal correctly, so I'm going to fix that. I'm going to cut this little piece off right here to cut right on that line. So this piece should heal correctly. So I'm going to cut this branch here. I'm going to try to do it one-handed. And there she goes. So, got 2 cuts. There's this bottom branch here. I don't really like the direction it's going, so I'm going to cut it as well. I'm going to try to cut it right on the line. Just like that. Another thing is I could cut this branch right here because I have these 2 branches coming out where I want them to, these 2. But because this tree had a lot of growth on it this year, you can see all the fresh cut marks. Had a ton of growth on it this year. So for the sake of the tree, I'm going to leave this portion here because this would be a big cut right here. I'm going to leave it, so I'm not going to cause it any extra stress this year. Next year, I probably will cut it when these branches become more established. Another thing I'm doing is I noticed I have a branch coming out right here. Off of this big branch with these 2 branches on it, I have another branch coming off right here. I'm going to leave it to see what happens next year because I have this branch right here that has that branch coming off of it. I'm leaving that for this year too, but I'm going to leave this one to see what happens next year, what kind of growth I'm going to get out of it. And if I like it, then I might take that big branch off next year because I kind of like the direction it's going in. Now, for this branch, you see the big downward turn it's taken? So that's getting closer to the ground, also closer to where the deer can reach it. So my whole purpose is to prune up, if that makes any sense. And so I noticed I got a baby branch coming this year, right here, right above it. And it's not growing straight up, it's growing in a natural downward curve, but it's taller than the branch below it. So I left it, and I'm going to see what happens next year. And I also have another option right here to the side. I left it as well. I'm going to see what happens next year. Alright, so this is what I'm looking for. You see how I have this big branch coming off, and these 2 are the branches I'm keeping, right? The next thing I am looking at is this right here. I have a Y. This is an old growth branch, but I'm looking at the branch that's coming off of it. I'm not really fond of where this branch is growing. It's right in the middle between 2 other branches, 2 other big branches, right there, and right here. And so far, I'm liking that big branch right there. I have a little branch that I'm keeping off of it that I like where it's growing so far this year, so I'm leaving it. So next year, I might make a cut right there on that big branch. But this year, for a big cut on this tree, I'm thinking of taking this branch right here. It's really too close to this branch, which I like. I like this branch. It's a little low, but I have these new ones growing off of it, so I'm keeping it for now. So I'm thinking I'm going to make a big cut right in this Y right here. That should heal okay. It might take a while, but it should. I made a cut previously a couple years ago right here. Big cut. Because the big branch is going straight up and it's healing nicely. So I'm hoping that this branch, if I cut it right here, it'll heal good. That was a big branch. That took me 2.5 minutes to get through. Look at that branch. That's pretty much as big as my hand. Look at that. Big old branch. This is what happens when the deers can reach your tree. They take a bite, they pull on the leaves to get the leaves off, and then ends up breaking the branches. That is why I am pruning up. That tree had a lot more growth on it, and it took me about 2.5 to 3 hours to get this one tree done. The other trees down the property line, they took me 45 minutes to an hour to get done. But this tree had so much growth on it that I had to stop and hit it again another day. Because it had a lot. But it's done. And I'm happy. So I just got done with chores. I brushed Firecracker, and let me tell you, can you see the amount of dirt that is on me? I mean, I am so dirty. It's crazy. Firecracker was so muddy. And my glasses, holy cow. Look how dusty those are. Oh my goodness. Definitely shower tonight. So, zippers. Zip says goodbye and good night. So I just want to say thank you for watching tonight, and I'm going to head up to the house, and I'm going to get dinner, and I am going to take a shower, and I don't know, I might watch, oops, I knocked something over. Wait, my hat. I might watch a little bit of TV tonight before I go to bed. I don't know. We'll see. It'll work. I might just go to bed because I'm tired. Oop. Not forget to lock up. Mr. Firecracker is an escape artist, and he will break out of his cell. Alright. Locked. Turn the light out. Good night, boys. So, thank you for coming along with me today. I hope you got encouragement and learned something, because I definitely learn something every time I do something. So, we'll see you next time. Bye.